this could be the big day. David Goldman has waited for 5 long years and battled for 5 years to get his son back. We are now awaiting an emergency ruling from Brazil's Supreme Court that could give Goldman custody of his son. But he tells us he won't believe it till it happens.
David Goldman just wants it to end.
We're not asking for favors. We're expecting for the rule of law and God and nature and human decency to be respected and followed.
What Goldman really wants is his son back. Sean, now 9, was abducted by his mother in 2004. She died last year, and her family here won't give the boy to his father, even though every major court decision has sided with him. Over the weekend, it became clear Brazil wants this settled. The country's attorney general issued a statement supporting Goldman and publicly worrying about damage to the reputation of Brazil before the international community. Far away in snowy Washington, that is already happening. A multi-billion-dollar trade deal with Brazil is now being stalled in Congress by politicians angered by Brazil's failure to resolve this case. The Brazilian family is also feeling pressured. They now say they want to negotiate a settlement.
Everybody's suffering, and especially the boy. So this is something that has to come to an end.
Say hello, Dave.
This is Goldman and his then wife, Bruna, in happier times.
I love you guys. Thank you very much. And I feel like family.
In 2004, she took their son on a short holiday to visit family here. In this phone conversation obtained by GMA, Goldman talks to his son in Brazil. It took place before he learned the boy wouldn't be returning.
How's your mom?
Good.
Good. I love her too, you know. And I love you, both.
I love you too, Dada.
You guys are my family. And I love and miss you. And I can't... Yeah? Yes?
I love you.
So here's what has to happen now. Last week, a court ordered that Goldman be given custody of his son. Then the Brazilian family got a stay put on that. Now the Chief Justice has to decide whether to lift the stay and give Goldman custody. The Brazilian family could try one last appeal, but it's not clear that will be accepted. David Goldman seems to be getting very close to getting custody of his son. Robin?
Jeffrey, and he is there in Rio this morning, David Goldman, continuing to fight for his son's return. He's going to join us live. And David, first of all, let me just ask you, how are you doing? When you left here on Wednesday, left the U.S., you thought you would be back by this time with your son. So how are you? How are you holding up?
Well, Robin, thanks for having me on, and good morning. I was hopeful. I didn't think anything. I can only do one step at a time, follow the rule of law and God and nature, and take it one day at a time and one step at a time. And I was hopeful that I would come down here on Wednesday and be returning with my son. And as usual, something happens, and here I am still in a hotel room in Brazil.
Well, we know, David, you are doing everything you can, and others are doing it too, including Brazil's Attorney General now weighing in on your behalf. Does that give you added confidence? And what do you think your chances are this time around as you wait for yet another ruling?
Well, again, we've had a lot of good rulings, and we know that there are a lot of competent judges. The 3-level appellate court judges get it. The 1st-level federal court judge got it. The psychologists appointed from the Brazilian courts get it. The people here get it. The people everywhere understand. There's a few that are holding this up, and hopefully beyond all hope, that Sean and I will be able to come home. It is the right thing for him.
The family that has Sean, we heard in Jeffrey's report, of course, holding out their own kind of hope. Have you talked to them at all since you've been there, David? What are the discussions that are taking place, if any, with the family?
I don't know. I have had no communication with them.
Is it true that they invited you to their home with Sean for Christmas?
I'm not really certain about that either, quite honestly. I heard they invited the press in a press conference, but...
We can understand you being skeptical. We can understand you being leery when it comes to this family. But your hope, of course, is to bring your son back. He's been in Brazil now for 5 years, since he was the age of 4. His mother died tragically in childbirth last year.
Yes.
If he comes home, you know it's going to be quite a transition for him. What plans do you have in place to help him make the transition?
Well, you know, he's been here for 5 years illegally, and he's suffering severe psychological and emotional damage every day that he's here. So he will need help, and it'll begin with returning home with me and his family, who have been waiting, agonizing and waiting for over 5 years to open our arms, give him love, give him patience, and let us begin to heal.
And when was the last time you saw him?
It's as simple.
Yeah, and when was the last time? In June. And what was that like when you saw him, David?
It's always very painful to leave him, to see him suffering and not be able to help him.
Well,
This is, if my son comes home, this is good for everyone. It's good for both countries. It's good for both families. Although right now those holding him may not want to admit it, it is the best thing for Sean, for he and I to be together. For him coming home can only and will only be a positive. For him, for other children, for both countries, for children like him all over. It is the right of a parent and a child to be together. It is our most basic principle, and we deserve that.
well spoken, David, as always. Our heart goes out to you, and we are waiting anxiously with you, and please let us know. Please let us know as soon as you hear. Thank you, David. You take care as best you
Thank
can
you.
there. Thanks.